So are there any consequences for brain if a patient is sitting on the platform? Could you please comment the following statement? If the pelvis has replaced outside of the zero line, like in the Schrägsitz, pulsating, I have to move this window here. The pulsating vibration is going directly to the head that can damage the brain. And again, so even if you're not very well centered while sitting on the Galileo, the acceleration is still smaller than 1g because you are never lifting up from the platform. So even if you can feel a little bit vibration in the head, but it is still far away from the from the acceleration which you get under normal condition. For instance, if you are shaking your head or if you do any other movements. So and we have not experienced any problem, even if you're not very well centered. And again, the amplitude of the Galileo is well, normally you are centered on the zero, whereas no displacement. But if you move now a little bit in the direction of 1, so even here the displacement is plus minus 1 millimeter, so very little, and there's no big effect on the brain. And you can again also test this by using just the hand on your head to see that the acceleration on the head is very little.
Mm-hmm. And actually, I would say that another parallel might be also of interest, head movement during hippotherapy, which is now as a concept very well established and known, where we would, I would say, have also quite a large, much larger movement of the head compared to Galileo application.
Yeah, well, also if let's say if the child is in the Kinderwagen or you're in a trolley where you move over the street, which is not very well flat, so you get more acceleration on the head than during Galileo training, because again, with Galileo we have just these pure sinus waves, so it's not a mixture which you get normally in daily movements.
And I would say that it's difficult to imagine Galileo therapy without sitting position, because we have a lot of different variations where the child is presenting better and better motor control. And sometimes it's challenging, but anyway, with the support of our hands, with the direction of our hands, so we can really enhance this.
Absolutely, and especially if you have hypertone children which wants to have trunk control, and the secret is that higher frequency gives them normally a better trunk stability, and if you use lower frequency, more and more the child itself has to control the trunk. And if you do add some additional exercises like with sandbags or rings, etc., moving it from the left to the right side, you can do some exercises, especially that the children learns to control the trunk.
Mm-hmm. And I would say that in addition, the increased sensoric input, sometimes even I allow a little bit for the child, like to maybe to put a head if they need through the arm or I don't know, hand, so they can feel, and it could I think also increase the motor learning, just motor development of motor learning. So it's a complex situation.
Yeah. But still, with the Galileo, you can irritate the upper trunk, and the children has to learn under this influence to control the trunk. And with lower frequency for the children, it's more difficult than for higher frequencies. And therefore, normally it's better as a hypotone child to start in the 16 to 18 hertz and then to lowering the frequency and to make it more difficult for the child.
And also it is one of the position where we can, for example, stretch the muscles, the hamstring muscles. Maybe it's not a very physiological way of sitting with straight legs. Actually, children sit much later, around 3 years old, they're able to sit with straight legs more or less for a longer time. But anyway, we can really put a stress on those muscles and prepare those muscles to another exercises or whatever. So it could be useful.
Yes.
Very useful. So let us
And
not
here
let
again, you see the acceleration, and again, what I have shown you before. So this is here, so the acceleration on the head, and you see that so this is now in standing, in a knee flex. So again, the acceleration are far below 1G. So this is 0.2 Gs, and it doesn't matter if you are straight legs or bended legs. So the acceleration is very low on the upper trunk and head.
And maybe last little additional thought. So I would say that really I can have fantastic results using different sitting position, and I would like the parents use those positions. So hopefully your explanation will be real helpful, and all the fears, super fears that they have, they will just
I can just tell you, sitting is a standard exercise in Galileo, worldwide used without any problem. So now we come to question 3. When can Galileo force a patient with epileptic activity? Should we take into account the exact period of remission? Well, in general speaking, in the Cologne University, they have a home-based program where the children are training 10 times per week, minimum 50 minutes each session for 6 months. And a lot of these children has epileptic activity, but there's no sign that we provoke or make epileptic activities worse. And of course, if you have an epileptic activity, then you don't train, but afterwards we have never seen any negative effect of Galileo training. And a lot of these children not only have used it once for half a year, but have used it several times. And I think the parents are very sensitive on any epileptic activity, but in this Cologne program, which is running now since 2006, where they have more than 4,000 kids included in this program, and the parents didn't report any negative effect in children with epileptic activities.
Tatiana, can you tell us, please, do you have patients with the epileptic activity, and do you use the Galileo platform with them?
It was a big question for me also at the beginning. I think it was a second question that I asked Harald when we met, even in the car when he met me at the airport for the first time. First question was if we can use. I think that he thought that there was a crazy woman from Russia came, and because her first question after answering how was the trip was, can we use Galileo with a chance? And the second one with epilepsy. So now I can tell you from my personal experience that of course we do use, not at the when the conditions are so severe that no therapy is indicated. But otherwise, if it's a chronic situation, for example, when the medicine is like a medicine that can really help is not available, for example, on a long term, we use it. We use the machine, and no problem we can see. Only support with the development, and it's quite a particular people I have in my head when I'm telling this. So it's not a general overall, but just really some patients I can speak about, and I know their results. So it is not dangerous, but we need to take into consideration this situation, of course.
So question 4, training children with valgus on Galileo in boots, does it make sense? So if you want to work on the feet, then it of course doesn't make sense to use boots, but if you want to work in standing or to improve upper leg muscles and trunk exercises, then boots make sense. And the same for hypertone children who has weak ankle muscles and instability in the ankle joint, then normally we use these ortheses, or we use the boots to stabilize the ankle joint, because we are focusing more on the upper leg and trunk control. And then when they have good muscle function in the upper leg and trunk control, then we can also go down and working more on the ankle joint. I don't know if Tatiana want to comment something.
Yeah, maybe I would say that my first experience when I met Dagmar Siebel from Berlin was, I don't know, maybe around 10 years ago. And I was really, really surprised to see the feet, of the children from the praxis where she's, where she has her therapy, and they were so good, in a very good condition, and I was really surprised. So, and the reason is, of course, they have good orthotic systems, but from the other hand, they all had Galileo therapy, and I think that those muscles of the joint, ankle joint, and foot, you know, so they can be really, their condition could be improved and influenced by the therapy. And we use special, I told already, special rubber thing just to put underneath. So, I will show it later. To have a more direct impulse from the machine. And also, I would say that we use boots also, or orthosis on the machine quite a lot. And it's important for the gluteus muscles. So if we can have something in a stabilized position which can't be stabilized by the body, so we can just help the body with the boots, for example, and then the gluteus muscles is building up and the outward rotators, so the valgus position will be also influenced through this chain reaction. So it's a good idea.
Okay.
I have also one question. We're using the manual foot therapy on the concept of Barbara Cukun-Huber, maybe you know, and we're using functional bandages on the feet, and we're also trying to train children with these functional bandages on their feet on the Galileo, so that they have their toes and they're free, so that we can try to fix the child in the correct position and try to change their postural regulation of the whole body. Is it also possible?
Well, for balance, for sure, you need a good functional ankle joint. So if you want to do balance, good balance, then you need good function in the ankle joint and also in the hip joint. So one leg balance, if somebody is weak, he has difficulties to stabilize and to control his balance.
Okay. And I don't see a problem also, Maria, because, you know, if you can really create a better position for this postural control, why not? So those muscles that are not actually doesn't have enough control to be in the right place or in the right length or shorten, for example. So you can create this better position and then try to direct the vibration to those muscles that need this activation. So I think it's a good supportive mechanism.
So question 5, is it safe to use Galileo with children aged before 1 year? So there have been studies or a study which showing that you can use it safely in children above 1 year. There's in the moment no study who is showing this below 1 year, but we have enough therapists, especially here in Germany, which using the Galileo in early intervention. So especially in children with genetic muscle problems, genetic muscle diseases or SMA or other genetic diseases, then it's widely used in Germany with children below 1 year as an early intervention. So if you have a hypotone child, then in my opinion, the Galileo is the only tool where you can induce strength in the system in a young age. And I show you one example. So this is an SMA child, and they're using the tilt table. And you can see also that this child is ventilated because it has not sometimes, but you can safely use the Galileo, and often we use in a home setting these tilt tables because then it's much easier to handle the child and to do the exercise And so here the goal is really, we're doing sitting exercises, we're doing hands-on exercises, but also some standing exercises. So here the goal is to strengthen the system, not immediately for walking or something, this makes no sense, but to strengthen the system, that the neurological system learns to communicate. And these are the main goals with Galileo by using this in children with early intervention. And maybe Tatjana can comment on this too.
Yeah, I would say only that I imagine that Dagmar had this kid when he or she was, I think, 1 month old or something, very, very close to the moment when the medication, they started medication. And I think, of course, she didn't start with this position, so it was gradually lifted. At the beginning, I'm sure the baby was just lying in the horizontal plane. So, but day by day, step by step, so they are ready now. And we can see what is for me very nice to see, that the child is happy. So it's happy, and the child has new sensory input, new sensation with the mother in the safe environment. So what could be better for the therapy?
Yes, absolutely right.